If you're a man over 60 and you've been walking more, eating cleaner, and taking your vitamins, but you still feel like something's missing, then stop everything you're doing right now and listen carefully. Because there's a hidden truth about your body that most doctors never mention, and it's silently stealing your strength, your drive, and your confidence while you sleep. I'm Dr. Charles Bennett, a retired urologist with over 35 years specializing in male sexual health and vitality, in men entering their golden decades. And what I'm about to share with you isn't in any medical textbook you'll find at the library. It's something I've witnessed in my own practice, in examining thousands of men just like you. Men who thought their best years were behind them until they discovered what was really happening beneath the surface. Here's what nobody tells you. Your body after 60 operates on a completely different set of rules than it did at 40 or even 50. The foods that once fueled your energy can now drain it. The routines that kept you sharp can now dull your senses. And the very habits you adopted for health might be the exact reason you're losing ground in the bedroom, in your relationships, and in how you see yourself every morning in the mirror. What if I told you that a single ingredient hiding in your pantry right now, something you probably ate this week, is raising your estrogen levels higher than some women your age? Or that a beverage marketed as heart-healthy is quietly thickening your blood and reducing circulation to the one place you need it most? In this presentation, I'm going to walk you through the invisible enemies of masculine vitality after 60. These aren't diseases. They're not genetic conditions. They're everyday choices that compound over time, turning your body against itself. And more importantly, I'll show you the exact steps to reverse this process naturally, without relying on prescriptions that come with a list of side effects longer than your grocery receipt. Stay with me until the conclusion, because I'm going to reveal one common breakfast habit that reduces testosterone production by up to 40% in men over 65, and most physicians never test for it. Once you understand what's really happening inside your body, you'll never approach your health the same way again. Before we go further, if you value content that speaks the truth about men's health after 60, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. And let me know you're paying attention. Type "ready" in the comments if you want to hear the full truth, or skip if this isn't for you yet. Your feedback shapes every video I create. All right, let's start with a story that changed how I practice medicine forever. His name was Eugene, 66 years old, former construction foreman, hands like steel, voice like gravel. He'd built bridges, highways, entire neighborhoods with his own two hands. But when he sat down in my consultation room that Tuesday afternoon, he looked smaller than his frame suggested. He wasn't sick. His heart was strong. His lungs were clear. But something inside him had dimmed. "Doc," he said, staring at his calloused palms, "I used to wake up ready to take on the world. Now I wake up hoping the world leaves me alone. My wife, she doesn't say anything, but I can see it in her eyes. She misses the man I was. Hell, I miss him too." We ran the standard tests. Cholesterol, blood sugar, thyroid, everything came back acceptable for his age. But then I looked deeper. I tested his free testosterone, his estradiol levels, his nitric oxide markers, and there it was, a hormonal profile that didn't match a 66-year-old man. It matched a 75-year-old woman. Eugene wasn't dying. He was drowning in estrogen. His testosterone wasn't just low, it was being smothered by compounds he was consuming every single day, thinking he was doing the right thing. When I asked about his diet, he proudly listed off what he'd changed over the past 5 years. I cut out red meat, switched to almond milk, started eating more whole grains, and I drink orange juice every morning because it's got vitamin C. And that's when I knew exactly what was happening. Eugene had fallen into the trap that catches almost every well-intentioned man over 60. He'd traded his masculine vitality for foods the mainstream calls healthy, without understanding that male bodies at this stage need fuel, not filler. Let me explain something critical. Testosterone isn't just about intimacy or muscle mass. It's the foundation of how you think, how you move, how you recover from stress, and how you show up in your own life. When it drops, everything else follows. Your circulation weakens, your mood flattens, your energy evaporates. And yes, your performance in the bedroom becomes inconsistent, frustrating, or non-existent. But here's the paradox. Most men assume this decline is inevitable. They've been told it's just aging. Just accept it. Just adapt. But that's not biology, that's resignation. And Eugene refused to resign. Over the next 90 days, we didn't add medications. We didn't prescribe supplements. We removed the hidden disruptors and replaced them with targeted nutrition that his body recognized and responded to. Within 3 weeks, Eugene told me he felt a shift. Not dramatic, but present. Like waking from a long fog. By week 6, his wife noticed. She said he seemed lighter, more himself. Tutino, by week 12, Eugene looked me in the eye and said, "I'm back, Doc. Not all the way, but I'm coming back." That transformation didn't happen because Eugene was special. It happened because we addressed the root cause, not the symptom. And that's exactly what we're going to do for you today. But before we dive into solutions, you need to understand the invisible forces working against you. These are the dietary landmines that detonate slowly, eroding your vitality one meal at a time. First, let's talk about plant-based milks. Almond milk, oat milk, soy milk, they're everywhere now, marketed as clean, modern, and heart-friendly. But for men over 60, especially those already experiencing hormonal decline, these beverages are a Trojan horse. Take soy milk, for instance. It's loaded with isoflavones, plant estrogens that attach to the same receptors in your body as the estrogen your body produces naturally. Now, in small amounts, for some people, this might be neutral. But when you're drinking it daily, pouring it over cereal, blending it in smoothies, those isoflavones accumulate. And for a man whose testosterone is already trending downward, this tips the hormonal scale even further. I once treated a gentleman named Raymond, 71, sharp as a tack, still managing rental properties across 3 counties. But he came to me exhausted, unmotivated, and deeply concerned about his fading desire for his wife of 48 years. "It's like I'm watching my own life from the outside," he told me. Raymond had switched to soy milk 2 years earlier after a scare with his cholesterol. He thought he was protecting his heart, but his estrogen levels were elevated, his free testosterone had plummeted, and his libido had vanished along with it. We removed the soy. Within a month, his energy rebounded. Within 2 months, he reported feeling like someone turned the lights back on. His wife sent me a handwritten note that simply said, "Thank you for giving me my husband back." This isn't about demonizing one food, it's about understanding how your body processes what you feed it. At 60, 70, 80 years old, you don't have the hormonal resilience you had at 30. Every choice matters. Every meal is either building you up or breaking you down. Now, let's discuss something even more insidious: refined grains. Bread, pasta, crackers, cereals, the backbone of the standard American diet. For decades, you were told to eat whole grains for fiber and heart health. And while fiber has its place, what they didn't tell you is how these foods spike your insulin, promote inflammation, and create a metabolic environment where testosterone struggles to survive. Insulin is a storage hormone. When it's chronically elevated, which happens when you eat refined carbohydrates meal after meal, It signals your body to store fat, particularly around your midsection. And abdominal fat isn't just cosmetic, it's hormonally active. It produces an enzyme called aromatase, which converts testosterone into estrogen. In other words, the more belly fat you carry, the less testosterone you have available and the more estrogen you produce. It's a vicious cycle. And the fuel for that cycle? The bread you toast every morning? The pasta you eat for dinner? The crackers you snack on while watching television? I remember sitting with a patient named Louis, 68, a retired school teacher with a gentle demeanor and a sharp wit. He'd gained 30 pounds over 5 years, mostly in his gut, and he couldn't understand why. "I don't eat junk food," he insisted. "I have oatmeal for breakfast, a sandwich for lunch, and pasta twice a week. I'm eating healthy." But his body told a different story. His waistline had expanded, his energy had contracted, and his intimacy with his wife had become a source of quiet shame rather than connection. We didn't put Louis on a restrictive diet. We simply shifted his carbohydrate sources. Instead of bread and pasta, we introduced him to fibrous vegetables, moderate portions of wild rice, and occasional sweet potatoes. Within 6 weeks, he'd lost 12 pounds. More importantly, his energy stabilized, his mood lifted, and he began to feel present in his body again. "I didn't realize how foggy I'd been until the fog lifted," he told me. That's the power of addressing insulin resistance before it becomes diabetes, and inflammation before it becomes chronic disease. But there's another category of foods that sabotage male vitality in a completely different way: processed meats. Bacon, sausage, deli slices, hot dogs. These aren't just high in sodium and preservatives. They contain nitrates and nitrites that, when consumed regularly, can impair circulation and damage the delicate lining of your blood vessels. Healthy circulation is everything when it comes to masculine function. Your ability to achieve and maintain firmness depends entirely on blood flow. If your arteries are stiff, inflamed, or narrowed, no amount of desire will overcome that physical limitation. I worked with a man named Vincent, 73, a retired postal worker who prided himself on staying active. He walked 5 miles a day, lifted light weights, and avoided sweets. But he had one habit he refused to give up: a couple slices of deli turkey and a few strips of bacon almost every morning. "It's protein, Doc," he said. "I need protein to stay strong." But Vincent's blood pressure was creeping upward. His circulation was sluggish, and his performance had become unpredictable. The sodium and additives in those processed meats were hardening his arteries, restricting flow, and undermining everything else he was doing right. Once we replaced the processed protein with fresh options, eggs from pasture-raised chickens, wild-caught fish, even occasional grass-fed beef, Vincent's numbers improved. His blood pressure came down, his circulation improved, and within weeks, he regained consistency in the bedroom that he thought was gone forever. "I didn't think food could do this," he admitted. "But food is medicine, and when you choose poorly, it's poison." Now, let's address the elephant in the room: sugar. Not just candy and soda, but the hidden sugars lurking in condiments, sauces, yogurt, and so-called health foods. Sugar doesn't just rot your teeth and expand your waistline, it destroys your blood vessels from the inside out. When you consume sugar, your blood glucose spikes. Your pancreas releases insulin to manage it. But over time, your cells become resistant to that insulin. Your pancreas works harder. Your blood sugar stays elevated longer. And that excess glucose caramelizes the proteins in your blood vessels through a process called glycation. Glycated proteins stiffen your arteries, reduce elasticity, and make it nearly impossible for blood to flow smoothly to your extremities. including the most critical one for intimacy. This is why diabetic men often struggle with performance. The sugar has literally damaged the plumbing. I'll never forget Douglas, 69, a former truck driver with a kind heart and a sweet tooth that had followed him since childhood. He didn't drink soda, but he loved his desserts. A slice of pie here, a cookie there, a spoonful of honey in his tea 3 times a day. "It's natural sugar," he told me, as if that made it harmless. But Douglas's HbA1c, a measure of long-term blood sugar, was pre-diabetic. His circulation was poor, his energy was low, and his confidence had eroded to the point where he avoided intimacy altogether. Not because he didn't love his wife, but because he feared disappointing her. We didn't ban sugar entirely. We reduced it dramatically. We replaced desserts with fresh berries. We swapped honey for cinnamon. We focused on stabilizing his blood sugar rather than spiking it multiple times daily. Within 2 months, Douglas lost 15 pounds. His HbA1c dropped into the normal range, and one afternoon, he came into my office grinning like a teenager. "Doc, I didn't think it was possible at my age, but it's possible." That's what happens when you stop poisoning your body and start nourishing it. The transformation isn't mystical, it's mechanical. Give your body the right inputs, and it responds with the right outputs. But removing the bad is only half the equation. Now, let's talk about what you should be eating to restore circulation, balance hormones, and reclaim your vitality. First on the list, dark leafy greens, specifically kale, collard greens, and Swiss chard. These vegetables are rich in magnesium, a mineral that over 70% of American men are deficient in. Magnesium relaxes blood vessels, supports testosterone production, and helps regulate insulin sensitivity. I had a patient named Gregory, 65, a quiet man who worked in accounting his entire career. He lived alone, cooked simple meals, and rarely ate vegetables. "I just never got into them," he said. But Gregory's blood pressure was high, his sleep was poor, and his energy was non-existent. We introduced him to a simple routine: 1 cup of sautéed collard greens with garlic and olive oil, 5 nights a week. Within 3 weeks, his sleep improved. His blood pressure started to drop, and he told me, with a slight smile, "I don't feel as heavy anymore," like something lifted. That something was magnesium deficiency, and the greens fixed it without a single prescription. Next, wild-caught fatty fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines. These are packed with omega-3 fatty acids, which reduce inflammation, improve blood flow, and support brain function. Inflammation is the silent killer of male vitality. It stiffens arteries, disrupts hormones, and accelerates aging. I treated a gentleman named Philip, 70, who had survived a heart attack 5 years earlier. He was afraid of fats, avoided fish, and lived on chicken breast and steamed vegetables. But his inflammation markers were still elevated, and his energy was stuck in neutral. We added salmon twice a week. Within a month, his inflammatory markers dropped. His energy increased, and he felt sharper, more engaged, more alive. "Why didn't anyone tell me this before?" he asked. "Because the system profits from pills, not prevention, but you deserve better." Another critical food category: cruciferous vegetables, but prepared correctly. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cauliflower. These contain compounds that help your liver metabolize excess estrogen. But as I mentioned earlier, overcooking destroys those compounds. Steam lightly, roast gently, or eat them raw with a healthy dip. Don't boil them into mush. Don't microwave them into oblivion. Treat them with respect, and they'll return the favor. I remember Arthur, 67, a man who loved his vegetables but cooked everything until it was soft enough to mash. "I don't like crunch," he said. But Arthur's estrogen was high, his testosterone was low, and he felt bloated and sluggish. We taught him to steam broccoli for just 4 minutes, to roast Brussels sprouts until they were crispy on the outside, tender on the inside. The difference was immediate. His digestion improved, his energy rebounded, and he said, "I didn't know food could taste this good and make me feel this good." That's the power of preparation. It's not just what you eat, it's how you treat it. Now let's talk about something most men overlook: hydration. Not just water, but mineralized hydration. As you age, your kidneys become less efficient. You lose electrolytes more easily. Dehydration thickens your blood, reduces circulation, and impairs every system in your body, including sexual function. I had a patient named Clarence, 72, who prided himself on drinking 8 glasses of water daily. But he still felt tired, his skin was dry, and his performance was weak. The problem? He was drinking plain water without replacing the minerals he was losing through sweat and urine. We added a pinch of sea salt to his water, included potassium-rich foods like avocados and bananas, and encouraged him to sip bone broth twice a week. Within 2 weeks, Clarence felt like a different person. His skin looked healthier, his energy surged, and he told me, "I feel hydrated for the first time in years." Hydration isn't just about volume, it's about quality. Minerals matter, electrolytes matter. Your body needs more than just H2O. Finally, let's discuss timing. When you eat is almost as important as what you eat. Intermittent fasting has become popular, and for good reason. Giving your digestive system a break allows your body to repair, reduce inflammation, and optimize hormone production. I'm not suggesting extreme fasting, but consider this. If you finish dinner by 7 p.m. and don't eat again until 8 or 9 a.m. the next morning, you've given your body 13 to 14 hours to heal. During that window, growth hormone increases, insulin sensitivity improves, and your cells clean out damaged proteins through a process called autophagy. I worked with a man named Jasper, 74, who ate constantly, small meals and snacks throughout the day. "I thought it kept my metabolism going," he said. But Jasper's insulin was always elevated, his belly fat wouldn't budge, and his energy was stuck in low gear. We shifted him to 3 solid meals within a 10-hour window. No snacks, no late-night eating. Within a month, Jasper lost 10 pounds of belly fat. His energy stabilized. His mental clarity sharpened, and he said, "I didn't realize how much I was working against myself." Timing matters. Structure matters. Your body needs rest, not constant stimulation. Now, here's the truth most men need to hear, but rarely do. You're not broken. You're not past your prime. You're not destined to fade quietly into irrelevance. What you're experiencing is the result of choices, many of them made with good intentions, that have compounded over time. But choices can be unmade, patterns can be interrupted, and vitality can be restored, not through miracles or magic pills, but through deliberate, informed action. I've walked this road with hundreds of men. Men who thought their best days were behind them. Men who believed their wives had stopped desiring them. Men who felt invisible in their own lives. And I've watched them come back, not by reversing time, but by working with their biology instead of against it. Eugene, the construction foreman, didn't just regain his energy. He started a small woodworking business and reconnected with his grandchildren in ways he never had before. Raymond, who thought his marriage was fading, renewed his vows on his 50th anniversary and told me it felt like the first time all over again. Louis, the school teacher, started mentoring young men in his community and said he finally felt purposeful again. Vincent, the postal worker, took his wife on a cross-country road trip something they'd postponed for a decade. Douglas, the truck driver, lost 40 pounds and ran his first 5K at age 70. These aren't exceptional men. They're ordinary men who made extraordinary choices. And you can too. Your body is still listening. Your cells are still responsive. Your potential hasn't expired. It's just been buried under years of misinformation, neglect, and resignation. But today, right now, you have the power to dig it out. Start by removing what's harming you. Cut the plant-based milks loaded with estrogen. Eliminate the refined grains spiking your insulin. Reduce the processed meats clogging your arteries. Slash the sugar destroying your circulation. Then, add what nourishes you. Dark leafy greens for magnesium. Wild-caught fish for omega-3s. Cruciferous vegetables prepared properly for estrogen metabolism. Mineralized hydration for cellular function. And structure your eating within a reasonable window to give your body time to heal. This isn't complicated. It's not expensive. It doesn't require a prescription or a gym membership. It requires awareness, intention, and consistency. And if you're wondering whether it's worth the effort, ask yourself this. How would your life change if you woke up tomorrow with more energy, clearer thinking, stronger circulation, and the confidence to show up fully in your relationships? That's not a fantasy. That's a possibility. And it's closer than you think. In my next presentation, I'll walk you through a 7-day meal framework designed specifically for men over 60 who want to restore hormonal balance, enhance circulation, and reclaim their vitality. It's simple, practical, and based on the same principles I've used with my patients for over 3 decades. But for now, I want you to take one action. Just one. Choose one thing from this video and implement it today. Remove one harmful food. Add one nourishing vegetable. Adjust your eating window. Drink mineralized water. One choice, sustained over time, creates momentum. Momentum creates transformation. And transformation creates a life worth living fully, no matter your age. If this resonated with you, let me know in the comments. Share your biggest takeaway or the change you're committing to. Your words might inspire another man who's struggling silently. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, a brother, a father, a friend, share this video. Health information this honest is rare. Let's spread it to the men who need it most. Thank you for your time, your attention, and your willingness to seek the truth. I'll see you in the next one.